Hello everybody, I'm Alicia Gadsden and welcome to LiveFit Kitchen. We're joined today by Dr. Andrea Purcell. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's great to be here, Alicia.
Dr. Purcell is the author of the cookbook Feed Your Cells, and she brings LiveFit Kitchen many delicious and healthy recipes. And today we have beef and zucchini skewers, and these are phase 1 friendly if you're on the beginning of our nutrition plan. So I'm going to start putting together the recipe, and Dr. Purcell is going to talk to us about the health properties of the food that we're eating.
All right, so we're going to start with beef. Sometimes beef gets a little bit of a bad reputation. Often it's indicated for heart disease and some of the saturated fats in there. But what we've chosen to do today is buy grass-fed beef as opposed to traditional beef, which is grain-fed. And so the grass-fed, it simply means that the cows eat grasses. And when they do that, they actually develop less body fat. And per pound, there's less calories when you eat the grass-fed beef versus the grain-fed beef. So grains, what do? They fatten us up. They fatten up the cows too. So we really need to eat more vegetables, just like the cows. And so we'll just build more lean body mass and less body fat.
It's an interesting concept, isn't it? The way you put that, it's kind of shocking to think about. Grains fatten us up and they fatten the cows up too, but it's painful and it's true. Now, what you're watching me do here is I put in the olive oil, a tablespoon of olive oil, and a 1/4 teaspoon each of the salt and pepper, and I just mix them together lightly, and then I'm lightly tossing the zucchini. I'll then take that out of the bowl, add the rest of the ingredients, some crushed red pepper and some garlic powder and some Italian spices, and then I'll toss the beef cubes. Now the thing that I wanted to show you was I've just lightly tossed this, just gotten a little olive oil all over each piece of zucchini, but you might, pardon me, you might notice that some of these zucchini pieces are quite large because we're going to be either broiling or grilling these, and I cut the zucchini large and the beef a lot smaller because then they cook at the same pace. So the recipe calls for 2 zucchini. I used 2 about this size, and what I did was I cut the ends off, split it lengthwise, and then cut it into about 1 to 1.5 inch long pieces. Now when you see the beef that I have, I just started with 1 big piece of steak and I cut it into much smaller cubes. The biggest of those is barely over 1 inch long by 3/4 of an inch thick. So you can see that the beef pieces are really much smaller than the zucchini pieces, and then they cook evenly. So I'm going to add the rest of our spices. Now remember, if you're not into spicy, you
leave out the crushed red pepper.
You might leave the crushed red pepper out, or you might cut it down just a little bit. The other ingredient that goes in here to keep it moist is the lime juice.
Now, we do have some Italian seasoning in there. I was a little bit more liberal with it. I am half Italian, and I do think it adds quite a bit of flavor.
It does, it's true. And I think that's the great thing about, when you really get comfortable with cooking, is you start to, modify the recipes a little bit and make choices based on what you like. We all know I'm famous for not being able to follow a recipe. I look at the recipe and I say, well, I like this and I don't like that, and I'm just going to change it around, and I don't know if I've ever cooked by the book.
As long as you have the staples down.
That's right, it's true.
Then you can modify a little bit. The other really great thing about zucchini, I think we'll talk about that next, Alicia, is that it's very high in fiber. It has a high water content, and anything that's high in fiber is great for helping pull toxins and cholesterol out of the body. So it will help lower cholesterol just a little bit, and it's also high in the vitamin C and A.
And it's filling. Because, when you finish your meal, nobody wants to feel stuffed. That's just overeating. But it is nice to feel full at the end of the meal, and foods that are high in fiber will make you feel full at the end of your meal, and they'll hold you over and make you feel more full for longer.
That's true.
Now, when I put these skewers together, I put all of the zucchini at one end and then all of the beef. And the reason for that is because if you're finding that for whatever reason your zucchini is cooking more quickly than your beef, you can move the skewer on the grill or under the broiler so that the zucchini is sort of, out of the way of the heat a little bit more to let the beef catch up. And of course that has everything to do too with how rare or not you prefer your beef to be.
The other important thing is some people will use metal skewers, which are fine. We today are using the wooden skewers. And if you are going to grill these, over a real flame, you probably want to soak your wooden skewers to get them moist and have them absorb some of the water so they don't catch on fire and toast up before your food is cooked.
She's not kidding. Even under the broiler, when I cooked a few of these last night as a trial run, I did soak the skewers. I soaked them for about 15 minutes, and that seemed to stop that problem of, when they blacken and they start to smell funny and all the rest of it. So I'm putting 3 or 4 pieces of zucchini and 3 or 4 pieces of beef on each skewer, and you can see I'm leaving a little bit of a gap between each one. That cut down on the cooking time there. Now, next time I make these, I will probably actually add a few pieces of onion as well.
Yum, I love grilled onion.
Lots of flavor, great smells from grilled onion. It's wonderful to cook outside or inside. And I think if I put the onion in, I'll probably use a single thickness and maybe put 1 piece in between each one, and it'll be pretty too. So that's what they look like raw. Like I said, I did mine under my broiler with the door of the broiler shut. I actually had to check on that one. I didn't know the answer to that until last night. And, you could also, like I said, cook it outside on the grill. But when I did broil it, I was turning them about every 4 minutes, and it took about 12 minutes for mine to cook. So when they came out, they obviously had shrunk quite a bit.
Ta-da, finished product.
So, but they smelled amazing while they're cooking. I'm sure they're delicious. Now, as a final little garnish, we're actually going to add a little more flavor with some mint. And what I did was I took the mint and I just picked off the leaves, no stems, and then just roughly chopped it, or you can even cut it up with kitchen scissors. Just sprinkle that over. So this is another one of those recipes that's just really pretty to serve, if you have people coming for a barbecue or something like that. And then the final touch is to take a lime wedge. And again, if you're plating this and serving it at a party or something like that, you could leave lime wedges decorating the side of the plate. If you're plating it and planning to sit down and eat straight away, then
Lime
you can
right
just
on top.
squeeze a little lime right over that, and it's ready to go. Super tasty, delicious hot or cold. It's a great summer or winter cookout thing.
And very satisfying.
Yeah, satisfying and delicious. We love it.